All right. Again, I just want to wish everyone love, peace, God, happiness, all that jazz, because it's very strange times. And we are so happy that you are here. And we're going to get this party started. All right. We are.
That beat comes in hard.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see Eric's face when he's like, yo, this is the next one. What the hell? Industrial madhouse.
The industrial.
Yeah.
Yes. The EDM madhouse. Like nail style.
There you go.
So how are you this day, Michael Dean?
Beautiful. Great day to be alive.
It sure is. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. And we had Chris P joining us actually an hour ago. So first in the chat from sunny South Park, Texas. And then we got Andre Staley back from London. Were you able to hook up with Lee Christian? Andre, did you guys like coordinate and get together? That would be fantastic. But Andre's back in Detroit. We got Cassandra Bradley, who will be joining us later. I'm so excited to talk about celebration. Okay. And we also have Lori Johnson. We got Anna B. Yes, exhausting week. I love this. It's time for a Prince power boost. That's what I'm talking about.
Love it.
We got April Watson from Tampa. I love this. What up, fam, from Tampa. And then we got Drea Dances. It's going to be a hot summer here in the Chi. I watched the latest episode of the Chi. It was amazing.
You watched the Chi?
I love the Chi.
Hilarious.
What's wrong with it? I love Lena Waithe and everything that she does. I love the jazz intro of the Chi.
You've been watching the whole time?
The whole time. From day one.
Okay, so sorry, we deviate for a quick second. I used to watch from day one as well. But as a day one fan, I don't know, to me, the show just kind of, I don't know, the last couple of years seem to go off the rails and become more just like a soap opera foolishness. I don't know. It just seems real great. The characters are all crazy now or something. But
yeah. Cassandra, do you want to come on early? Because if not, you can come back like in an hour. Do you want to come on now? Because we'll bring you on.
Like I said, I'm here.
Do you want to come on now, Cassandra, or you want to wait and like in an hour and come back? I don't think she can hear us.
I can wait.
Okay. All right. And so I understand exactly what you mean, Michael Dean. Mm-hmm. It did have some changes in the vibe. But because I'm really big into supporting Black creators, you know, I wanted to stick with it. And then it was some of the characters that I really love and kind of root for. Like Bakari is like, I just hope he makes it out.
Which one is Bakari?
He's like the young, he's the young, and he wasn't there in the beginning. It's kind of midway. And he has a sister. They were both foster children.
And then like a gangster or something doing something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But he's also writing. He's trying to get out of the game, but it keeps pulling him back in.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes.
There's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, it's an entertaining show. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. You should. I totally understand where you're coming from, but I would give it another chance.
My man still got the was it a chicken place or something?
Yes.
What's that character's name?
Smokies. Emmett.
No, what's that dude? The young character. What's his name again?
Emmett.
Yeah. I used to root for Emmett so bad, but man,
Emmett's still hanging in there.
Is he still doing all of his foolishness?
He's grown up. He's a little bit more mature.
Okay, let me get off the show. We're in a whole other place.
It's okay. The Chi needs love too. I love the Chi. Okay. All right. So, but the reason why I think it's important to talk about the Chi is that the last episode is it's like a homage to Spike Lee, because like, you know, in Do the Right Thing, you know, when you had Robin Harris under the umbrella with the three dudes, like that's in there with like games. And then there's like a scene from Crooklyn when the kids are doing like writing with chalk. It's like whoever directed that episode was definitely sending a love letter out to Spike Lee. Okay. And it was about, just like how hot it is, in Chicago, which I was like, was it really that hot in Chicago? Because I'm from Alabama, so I was like, oh, I guess it was hot everywhere. Because growing up, I always thought that the North was always cold, kind of thing. So anyway, if you just want to watch, kind of check in with everybody, Michael Dean in the Chi, watch the last episode. I think because you don't necessarily need to know what's going on because it's totally different from a lot of their other episodes. So again, shout out to whoever directed that particular episode. All right. We got Nick Feldon from Denver. We got Lisa Williams. Everybody's missing a little Chi in their life. That's what we're talking about. And then we got TP. We got El DeBar from Ireland. It's so great to have you back. And we also have Sister Charles. Pleasant Saturday from H-Town. We got Tao Sophie, Ronald Dagley Jr. We got EA. I love freedom. Love that. Olaf from San Francisco. We got Eric Davis. We got Stone Freak. And we got Elizabeth Shushman, if I'm saying that correctly. And we got Sexy 71. Love when Love Sexy 71 shows up just so I can hit that button. We got D68A. We got Dr. Claus 77. We got Tanja all through the Chi. Okay. And we got Chris Portney. And we got Dorothy Edwards. Summertime. And we got Blade Brown. We got Tony Griffin from Detroit. We got Gabrielle Cowron from Down Under. All right. We got Australia in the house. We got Arlene.
What time is it in Australia?
Yeah, Gabrielle, let us know what time it is in Australia. And then we got Kim waking up to a black sweat. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Summer is here, and so
what are you doing, Kim?
It's hot down south. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Oh.
And then we got D68A just transferred a 1993 Eric Leeds Washington concert to Flex. Again, my Eric on listening to that. All right. D68A, we need this is where we need C Lee to do your tag for your channel. But if you could just upload that, we would be so thankful for that. And Stone Freak is still high from seeing Jesse. And hopefully Stone Freak will be joining us later to talk about his experience.
Oh, Stone Freak's coming on?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And we got okay, Andre is saying we were so far away from each other, Lee Christian, so they did not connect. Oh my God, that would have been so amazing. And we have JD Washington. Good morning, professors.
JD.
And let's see, we got Arlene. And says, I briefly linked up with Lee Christian. It was great to meet him. That's amazing that there's some connection going on. And I love this. Dorothy says, D'Angela and Michael Dean, we were working it like a job. Like Prince, you be busy. That's right. We got to do it for Prince. He trained us. And we got El Michelle. And we got Karan. We got Duke Swan. And we got a lady cab driver.
Yeah.
Yes, the Stone Freak saw it. So when you come in, we got to talk about the Chi and how amazing that episode was, because somebody else saw those Spike Lee nods, because I'm sure there were some that I missed. And then let's see. Tony Griffin wants to know, Michael Dean, did you ever get a chance to meet Prince?
In person, no.
But you met him.
How you want to?
Yes, and we got Greg Gomez. We got Hong Kong checking in. Welcome, Karina Turnbull.
Hong Kong.
Are you related to Arthur? That's what I want to know.
All right.
Then we have, let's see. I think I said hello to everyone. Oh, okay. So in Australia, Michael Dean, it is 2:00 a.m.
Nice. Well, thank you for staying up.
Yes, we appreciate your dedication and commitment, Gabrielle. That's what I'm talking about. And then El DeBar in Ireland is hot over here. I see it's the same where you guys are too. Stay cool. I love our international community. Thank you so much for checking in with us. And then we got Purple Cat Confetti. Oh, thank you. Neat your happy faces today, having plumbing issues and dealing with mold issues. That sucks, Purple Cat Confetti.
Well, we're going to keep it positive for you, because I know that's got to be frustrating. But
yes. Yes. So thank you so much for tuning in with us. Hopefully we'll give you some purple happiness. And we got LTK and we got Melvin Rush II representing Charlotte, North Carolina. And oh my God, Gabrielle says it is 8 degrees.
Wow. What's up, Melvin?
And let's see. And Andre wants to know, Blade Brown, are you from Detroit? All right. And let's see. Chris Bournet says, Michael, I love your episode about going to the NPG Club pre-concert event with Prince. I felt like I was there. You basically met him since you could have asked him anything you wanted.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that was a dope show. Dope show.
All right, so let's get, one day I will learn how to use StreamYard, but today is not that day. All right, so we're going week to week, not date to date. And you can follow this QR code or bit.ly link. You do not need the paperback version, but that's the one that I have because it's the most updated one, the one with the circle. But if you have, this is the NIV version, and Michael Dean has the King James version.
I got the, what would you call this? This is the, I don't know, Purple Scrolls edition.
Purple Scrolls edition. I love that. Yes. All right. Oh, wow. Okay. So Stone Freak said, I met a few folks at Purple High rooftop event. Hey to y'all. All right. Okay. I'm glad you're connecting in the real world. That's right. I love this. Melvin Rush II. Michael Dean and I, we be cutting. That's right. Okay.
My studies.
We be studies. Love that.
We be studying.
We got to bring studying back, but I'm not going to get on that rant. Okay. All right. And these will be archived at Polished Solid as well as at MDean. And I do want to give a very special thank you to all of you who are hitting that like button. And we have the past 2 episodes, we've been above 500 views, and I'm so grateful. I think Prince deserves over 500 views. And if not, if we could get it up to 1,000, that would be amazing. Just so that more people can actually know about Duane's book, because we want a 3rd book. So we're also doing this not just for Prince, but also to help spread the word about Duane's amazing work. So if you can help by subscribing, liking, and helping spread the word, we'd really appreciate that. And this is our hashtag, and this is an independent endeavor. The Estate of Prince Rogers Nelson is not affiliated, associated, or connected with the What Did Prince Do This Week book club series. And we choose to be a community even when we disagree. C. Lee's not here today, so we're going to be fine. I'm just kidding, C. Lee.
Damn.
Yes. C. Lee understands. I had to.
And I'll shut up.
I'm rarely funny, so I just had to take that opportunity to be funny for a change. All right. And C. Lee won't take it personally because, all right. We were playing Times Square from the album Times Square, 1991, Paisley Park Records. And that song was composed by Eric Leeds and Prince. And it was essentially just Eric Leeds and Prince. So this was, as far as I'm concerned, a Madhouse song because it was just Eric Leeds and Prince. All right. Okay. Wow. So again, week 25, this is the 128th episode of What Did Prince Do This Week? And this week, there are no songs, no studio sessions, but other people are in the studio. So let's see what's going on. This week, nothing happened on Sunday. That's the other book. And then Monday and Tuesday, Wendy and Lisa are in the studio. Then Wednesday, we have the official release of the Raspberry Beret 12-inch. Then on Thursday and Friday and Thursday and Saturday, Sheila E's in the studio. And then on Friday, Wendy and Lisa are again in the studio. But you will see that Tuesday, Prince flew to France for a little movie that I love dearly, On the Cherry Moon. So that's the reason why Prince is not in the studio this week, because he's over in France with Jerome and everybody. And we're going to read about that. Okay.
The homies went to France and left everybody else to work.
Yes.
They went on work vacation.
Yes, they did.
Scooters.
Yes. And we got to say hello to Vanessa for joining us last week and talking to us about the concert from Celebration. We got a hands up to Vanessa Howdy from Kim. And yes, that's right, Kim. Oh, this is so Southern. I don't know if people get this, but the Southerners will. D'Angelo ain't studying. See Lee. That's right. Okay. Love that. I hadn't heard that in a long time. Yes. Purple. Yes, this is from Tanja. Adulting does sucks. So, okay. We're going to get our reading started. And Michael Dean, if you want to start off with June 17th, and we're going to read one more again about strange relationship.
All right, let's go. Monday, June 17th, 1985, estimate. Strange relationship, overdubs, and mix. The Complex Studios, Los Angeles, California. Producers, Wendy and Lisa. Artist, Prince. Engineer, David Tickle. Quote, no quote?
No quote.
No quote. Additional recording was done on Strange Relationship. Wendy and Lisa would work on the track over multiple days. During that time, they'd overdub congas, finger cymbals, tambourine, and Prophet VS and Oberheim OB2 keyboards. It appears that they also recorded a guitar through the keyboard, treating it as an effects pedal in an effort to bring new sounds to him. They also blended their background vocals with Prince's, making the sound thicker. But here's the thing. Prince did not attend this session.
All right, Michael Dean. We actually didn't talk about this last week because we talked about Strange Relationship last week. Do you prefer, so this version of Strange Relationship is actually on the Sign of the Times Super Deluxe, and essentially on the official release of Sign of the Times, a lot of Wendy and Lisa's contributions are stripped away with a little bit of sitar, whatever that instrument is. So I'm curious, do you have a preference between the two, or it doesn't matter for you? Like, what's your take on those different versions?
Well, I will say I like when I say the original, to me, it's the version that was on the album when it came out. So I do like that version, but I do like the extended version that is on the special edition as well. Like I'm all into that. So I guess I would say just in general, I prefer Prince's originals over anything.
You know? Yeah. So I'm curious, like in the chat, let us know, like, what do you prefer? Like, do you prefer the one? Trying to move and see if I can get coordinated with Michael Dean. I mean, I actually prefer the one on Sign of the Times more so than the one on Super Deluxe, just because it's too lush, if that's a thing. Like, it's so much going on in the one that's on the deluxe that I kind of like the more stripped down version. But that's just me. And love sexy. Yeah, sexy. Can't find my mouse. It's saying 71. The original version that came out in 1997 is my preference. We got Yay, the original. We got, but Lunch with Prince is saying the Super Deluxe version is so good. And
now, when does the song though date from? Is this from like, I mean, it goes way back. Is it like from 82 or something like that? Or
I think
I feel like he had been playing it for a long time. I don't know. You have to look it up, I suppose. But
yeah, I'm
one of those ones that has been around for quite a while.
I'm doing my Googles. So 83 was the tracking, March of 83 at Kiowa Trail Home Studio.
Yeah. So that I can't remember if I've heard. Is that the version that's on? Somebody said Shep Pettibone. Stop. Who said that? Stone Freak? Are you coming on? Okay, it's on. Yeah, but is the version that's on the album, the original album, is that a re-recording of from 83, or is that the 83? I would think it's not the 80, but I don't know.
That's a good
Sign of the Times version.
Because this is hold on, like you can see that this is Prince Vault. We love Prince Vault. Shout out to Prince Vault. I go to Prince Vault more than I go to any other site, so I really appreciate everyone behind Prince Vault. You know who you are, and I know you. All right, so we got 83 at Kiowa, the tracking, and then we got overdubs at the Flying Cloud Drive Warehouse. And then this is the sessions that we're reading about right now at Complex Studios with Wendy and Lisa with the overdubs. So and then there's mixes. So I would assume, and this is a big assumption, based on what we're reading here on Prince Vault, it is the original tracking with stuff being added on it and then mixed. Because usually, and also Duane usually does this in the books, he will say if a song has been re-recorded. So I'm thinking that it's just been worked on. And then here you go, Stone Freak, the remix additional production by Chuck Pettibone, 1987. I wonder who made that decision. It was not a good decision.
Well, dude was hot at the time, so I get it. I can understand, he was that dude.
Yeah, he was, but and don't get me started. I will say this. I will say this. I guess this is when we need Ricky, our Dear Estate moment.
Right.
Dear Estate, we don't need any edits, and we also don't need any remixes or extended versions that are not done by Prince. So that's my very quick. I hate those because for me, it takes away from other things that could have been put on the Super Deluxes.
I will say, I'll say this about remixes though. I could entertain hearing a remix, but it would really have to be curated by the right people, So like if it was a Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis remix of something, I'm not mad at that. If they sort of keep the spirit of the original thing, hilarious. Or if it was, Jesse Johnson or D'Angelo or something, I would be interested to see kind of, but it is a slippery slope because again, I don't really want the Timberland, not to say nothing bad about Timberland, but
yeah, we loved him.
I just don't want it to get crazy. But again, I wouldn't be mad, or maybe there were stuff done back in the day that we just never heard about. I could be interested in some of that type of stuff too, because then, for instance, the I can't remember what song it was, but there's a Big Daddy Kane verse remix thing that they did with Prince that never came out. But I would like to, that kind of stuff I think would be kind of interesting.
All right. So I'm going to put this back up here. I don't know where Ricky is. So Ricky, if you listen to this, you are being called. Gabrielle wants to know where is Ricky. Okay. All right. So let me go back to this tab.
Oh, it was Batman. Okay. Big Daddy Kane.
And a lot of people actually seem to love. Now, I do like Shock G's Love Line.
Yeah. I'm still saying something that's still with the spirit of what it is. It's not what it would be today, but what it would have been at back then. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to add stuff from today and whoop, whoop, and all that. No.
Yeah. Kim says we used to love Timberland. What happened? Oh,
well, AI thing going on that people are kind of.
Oh, okay. I haven't.
I can get into that.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, don't Rick and drive. That's right.
Wow.
Oh, welcome, Chanel.
That's a t-shirt.
Right. Yes, it is.
Rick and drive.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go on to the next reading, and I'll do that one, which is Teacher, page 167, if you have the NIV version.
And the remixes could be just online. You know what I'm saying? Like just put, you need something to put out. You can one a month or one, you know what I'm saying? It don't have to be, so it's not taken away from the real stuff. But anyway, my bad. Go ahead.
Okay. And Nick Felton says we want the trap version of Strange Relationship. Okay.
Well, again, see, if somebody would have said, what's my guys out of ATL, Dungeon Family, if they did something back in the day, we just never heard about it.
Yeah.
I would want to hear that though.
Now I would, yeah. You're in, yeah. Okay. The Dungeon Family, yes.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Rico. All right. Teacher. Oh, Tuesday, June 18th, 1985. Estimate Teacher Overdubs Mix. The Complex Studios, Los Angeles, California. Producers Wendy and Lisa, artist Prince, engineer David Tickle. We are skipping the quote. That's the reason why you need to be doing your reading, and make sure you grab this book if you don't have it. All right. Teacher Teacher was originally recorded on a 16-track tape in 1982. The song was a completely solo number that contained Prince clapping, playing guitar, bass, and drums, and singing all of the vocals. It was a sketch, and he had a vocal and maybe a guitar and probably a drum machine or something, keeping a beat, remembers Lisa. We just played everything and all the vocals. There were several songs like that he would just send to us. Wendy and Lisa added additional vocal harmonies, electric and acoustic guitar, Lynn LM1 drums, claps, new organ, synth strings, bass, finger cymbals, which had been introduced to Prince by Lisa's brother David, and a layer of I don't know how to pronounce that, calliope. I don't know how to say that. I wish I did. Over a new intro of harpsichord. I know Kim is in the chat. Can you give me the phonetic pronunciation of this CALLIOPE intro of harpsichord, all blended together to add a resounding density of the track? Status: Prince's original tape of Teacher Teacher was included on the early configurations of Dream Factory, but not placed on Crystal Ball or Sign of the Times. The early version was posthumously released on the 1999 Super Deluxe edition in 2019, and the updated version from this session found a home on the Sign of the Times Super Deluxe edition in 2020.
Teacher, teacher.
So, do you like that song, Michael Dean?
I love that song, and
really,
that's one of those ones. It was like on bootlegs out for a while, right? Like,
yeah,
kind of heard it, but it was bad quality. But when it came out in the 1999, I just love it. You know, to me, it's just one of those. It's the tone of his voice, the doubling, the sing-songy nature of it. To me, is just infectious, and like, I love that Prince. I love that Prince that does that type of stuff. To me, this is the Prince that would do Starfish and Coffee or something like.
Okay.
Same kind of, you know, and I love that he can do that. So yeah, I love this song. And the version I do prefer the original, but I do like both of them. But again, not that theirs is cluttered, but I just like to hear just the essence of the song and his voice without all of the other stuff. So I love that song. My youngest daughter sings that song, just the teacher, you know, it's just one of them things you don't even know what it is, but you can't help but teacher, teacher. Or we'll substitute other words. We'll be like, daddy. But I love this. Yeah.
All right. Okay. And thank you, Kim, Blade Brown, and Lady Cab Driver. So it's Calliope? Calliope?
You still can't figure it.
I think it's Calliope. So
Calliope.
let me know if I did okay.
Calliope.
It
Calliope. That'd be some Prince thing. What does that mean?
Okay, Michael Dean. We are going to move on to another.
Do you like Sister Sister? I didn't.
What, Teacher Teacher?
I mean, Teacher Teacher. I said Sister. Lord, now that would be a song. Sister. Woo!
Oh my God! Thank you, Ronald. So Ronald said I got it right. Okay, and D68A saying it's a type of organ, and Baron was saying I was singing it before Michael Dean did. And Ronald says, I like both, but I prefer the original. And Karan is saying, I like Teacher Teacher.
Well, of course you would.
Yeah, of course, Karan would. And El Debarra is, I like the outro part, Teacher Teacher, the rest not so much. It's not that I don't dislike it. It's just that I don't go, oh my God, I have to listen to Teacher Teacher today. Okay. And I'm not walking down the street and it just pops in my head. Nope, it doesn't happen.
I sick and tired of making I don't even really know the words. I just love the way it sounds when he sings.
I love that, Michael Dean. I'm happy to know. That's what I love about doing this show with you and everybody in the chat, because I love it when songs resonate with other people and they don't resonate with me. And it's just, sometimes it gives you a new appreciation for the song, but sometimes it doesn't.
So. Yeah. There's the one we won't say, but I'm with you. I
yes. And El Debarra says it's an earworm, to be fair.
There you go. See that?
Yes. And then, See, before you even hit that button, Love Sexy?
Yeah, sexy.
Knew what was up. Shake. All right.
Wait. Well, I'm not putting Shake and Teacher in the same category, just to be clear. I don't know. Stop it, Love Sexy.
Oh my God. And D68A is saying, I wonder if 3 O'Clock ever recorded a version of it. I could see that.
What songs did they did 2 different songs, didn't they?
I don't remember.
It's a Girl of My Dreams.
I think they did. I did not keep 3 O'Clock in my mental Rolodex, Michael.
Yeah, where's the 3 O'Clock love? Y'all be talking about Dear Estate. I need to see 2 things in the next estate to the next celebration if you're real Prince fans. 3 O'Clock.
Oh no.
And Good Question. And TC Ellis.
Okay, I vote for TC Ellis over.
That's it.
Okay.
$2,000.
All right. Let's see. Blake Brown is saying, I tolerate it, but then want to follow it up with He's So Dull almost every time. In fact, I actually like He's So Dull. I don't love it, but I would definitely play that before I play Teacher.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah. Oh, so are you saying that Teacher was sent to 3 O'Clock D68A?
Yeah, I thought they did. They were considering. That's why when he said that, I think there was some truth to that.
And everybody's talking about Neon Telephone now. Does people?
Oh, Neon. Maybe it was. I'm old.
Like Neon Telephone.
I think they did head. I think he gave them head too. That's what I heard. Stop.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. TC and Carmen.
Hilarious. Hey, you know what? I wouldn't be mad at a Carmen panel, like with her up there.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be like, I hate you. What are your thoughts?
Michael. Okay, so D68A is saying that 3 O'Clock were sent Week in Funk, Teacher, Girl of My Dreams, and Neon Telephone.
Wow. Week in Funk?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
He gave them some stuff though, man. Like those songs, all them songs are tight to me.
Yeah. And aside from Tao Sophie, I can do without the trap version of everything. I like trap versions of things. It depends on the song though. And then we have
Cars for Kids. You want a trap version of that?
Maybe not a trap version of that. Okay. Let's see. I never listened to the 90s Paisley records. All right, Stone Freak.
We're gonna check your fan credentials when you come in here, Stone.
And
you ain't been brought on yet, brother.
Let's see. Okay. All right. So, Michael Dean, read about Tuesday, June 18th, 1985, the part 2 one, because there's 2 entries.
Oh, in my book, there's 1 entry.
Okay, well, I have to read it. All right. So let me do it real quick. Tuesday, June 18th, 1985, Prince's manager, Steve Fargnoli, and a few others flew to France to prepare for Under the Cherry Moon while staying at the Nova Park Hotel off the, I can't pronounce that, in Paris. I never took French. I took Spanish, and I don't want to bastardize it. They met with potential cast members and scouted locations. That was a very friendly and kind, warm place, remembered Jerome Benton. We were riding around on scooters. Prince was riding around on a scooter, Wally, Gilbert, and we're all going down these little cobblestone roads because it was amazing. It was a journey that was unbelievable. As always, Prince worked on multiple songs for the upcoming soundtrack, allowing the culture of the area to influence his sound. Many of these inspired tracks would be revisited by Prince after he returned home. So based on this one little paragraph, it seems like we need to do some more research on what songs Prince worked on, and did he work in a studio, or was he doing this stuff in his hotel? Was that even possible I guess that wasn't possible because there weren't any digital workstations back then. So I want to know more about that. But let's get back to them on the scooters. Wouldn't it be amazing to have footage of Prince on a scooter in France riding down some cobblestone roads? That's what I would love to see.
Yeah, that's the one thing, Yeah, it's different, good and bad, but because we didn't have cameras and all that kind of stuff back then. But it would have been interesting if they would have had cell phones and stuff and just seen footage of them going through the town or doing stuff. I could imagine you could have probably made that into some little behind the scenes type of thing, but that would have been interesting to see. Trap version of Arms of Orion. Theo? You might want to sit down for this.
I want to hear it. Maybe it will convert my love for the tune.
That's where I want to be. That's where.
All right. So next up on Wednesday, because I'm going to make you read Thursday. Wednesday, June 19th, is the 12-inch of Raspberry Beret titled New Mix, also known as Extended Remix in some countries, was released. It was backed with an extended version of She's Always in My Hair. And I did get mine, but I forgot to take it out the plastic because I haven't looked at this in a while because I want to see the label. But one of the, I've said this again. I said this before. I'll say this again. Like one of the things that I really love about, wow, I guess I need to go back, about the 12 inches from Around Rolling the Day were that they were kind of like, it's kind of like the Sheila E. Sturt record. I wish it was a gatefold, so you can see like the whole body kind of thing. That's one thing. And then let's see what our label looks like. Yeah, that's what I was hoping. So we got
the African body. Yeah.
Yes. So we got, our Paisleys, and then we got our Sky. That's what I'm talking about. I love, this is one of my favorite labels. Not after the 1999 I. That's the best one for sure. But this is one of my favorite ones. And obviously we've talked about She's Always in My Hair a lot. So we're going to move on so we have time for our guest. Michael Dean is going to read about Thursday, June 20th.
All right. Sister Fate remix. Editing mix sounds Sunset Studio 3. All right. 8 p.m. 1:30 a.m. Booked. 8 p.m. to open. What does that mean? Like they just have it all night till the studio opens again?
No, I think that means until whenever they want to leave.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's what I think. But
all right.
Somebody correct us if we're wrong, especially Duane, if you watch this episode, because sometimes he watches our episode.
Just to show us, Duane. Producer, none listed. Artist, Sheila E. Engineer, David Leonard. Credited as Davy Crockett. Assistant engineer, Mike Colster.
Closter, I think. I could be wrong. Closter or Closter. Let's read this quote.
Say it again.
Read it.
Read it. You saw the other D'Angelo come out. That was cold tone. Okay. Sheila was a veteran musician, and I think he liked that. He liked the collaboration with her because she had good ideas, and he liked the way she played drums and stuff like that. And I saw him not directing her as much as other people, letting her have some say in the music. That was Peggy Mac Leonard. All right. As he was doing with Wendy and Lisa, Prince was also trusting Sheila E. to add her own flavor to his music while remaining faithful to what he wanted, which was a luxury he gave to only a select few. On this date, Sheila was working on a remix of Sister Fate, and she appears to have been in a playful mood. On the work order, she called herself Little Snot, and the engineer David Leonard was listed as Davy Crockett. She also wrote many of her credits in reverse without the use of a mirror. This was typical Sheila E. work because she's got this unique talent to be able to write backwards without thinking about it, recalls engineer Mike Colster. It's kind of a very unique talent. She's even got the personalized drumsticks with her name signed backwards. After 4 hours of editing, 2 C60 cassettes were made of what they accomplished. Prince was out of the country, so his participation would come from his review of the cassettes which was sent via FedEx?
All right. And we got
Read it. Don't let me go and edit that and make a button for that.
Please don't, Michael D.
Celie, man, I don't know if you saw that, Celie, but I was saying something out of turn or something, and Deanne, read it.
That was not the spirit of what I said.
I almost started crying live on air. But she did. Prince taught her well.
Oh my God! I was trying to be fun. You're turning it all the way around.
That's how I took it. Terrified.
Oh my God!
You know how intimidating it is to be on a show with a college professor? Then they
all right. Welcome, Celie. We missed you so much. How are you this day? Oh, we can hear you, Celie.
Your mic's not on.
It's can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm happy to be here. That's all I say. It's been a morning, and y'all gonna make my morning just got better right now.
Okay. Good. Right on. I thought you were about to say, y'all gonna make me lose my mind.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. So we got some, all right. We got some read it, and we got some shout out to the best Prince collaborator, Sheila E. And we got, hey, Celie, enjoyed your Substack on the Sinners movie. And then we got a lot of hello. All right. So just really quickly, I have a couple of Dear States. One from Theo. Dear State, can we get a 12-inch singles box set? I'm all for this. Instead of a 7-inch singles box set when you release a super deluxe edition. Thank you. I'm all for that. Thank you, Theo. And then we have Dear State, stop sleeping on that Carmen album. You better wake up and release it.
Hilarious. You might be waiting for that one. They only say 45% of the vote is digitized now. I don't know if that's 45.
They're gonna release that right when they release that. All right.
Yeah.
Nigga, tell me what you think.
The Shake subsidiary, Shake Production.
Oh my God. I mean, I personally wish that there was a Robin Power. Actually, let me step back. I wish that Robin Power would have been released instead of Carmen. Seriously. And I'm not being funny. So that's just me.
So so I'm gonna be honest. I probably had to get my purple card snatched from me.
Michael already got his purple card snatched today. But
no, I just got my card snatched.
You got your heart snatched.
My man.
So I've only heard the one thing that I've only heard was the one that she did in Graffiti Bridge. Have we heard some other stuff that she's done? What's up, Big Sexy? Have we heard anything other than what she did in the Graffiti Bridge? Was some other songs to that?
Oh yeah, so like there's some songs.
There are some other songs out there, yeah.
Like on the New Power Generation maxi single, right? Like My Tree.
There are some songs.
Or am I making that up? I thought sure there was at least one song.
Okay.
No, there are some out there.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I need to get up on with Robin Power.
I want to say she had like a whole group.
Yeah, My Tree. Yeah, that's right. That's what I thought.
That's right. My Tree. I forgot about My Tree.
Salute to Robin, man. That's
there you go.
I like My Tree.
Right.
I like it more than Teacher. I'm being serious, Michael Dean. I know.
Yeah, I got to give you side eye on that one. You really like My Teacher more? I mean, My Tree more than Teacher?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's because I love Robin so much, and I just want her to win. That might be a little bit of that. So I'm curious, Celie. We talked about a couple things. One, what say you about Teacher? Do you like this song?
I don't never skip it when it comes on.
Okay.
So and as y'all know, I listen to everything chronologically. So I got it in that, in that chronological. And and I think it's on my 1999 playlist. So I got it chronologically with that. So I don't skip it when it comes on, and it's not removed. Like there are a few songs that I'm trying to see what songs that I actually have removed from any playlist, so I could give you like an equivalent of like something that I just like. I don't want to. Let me put it this way: it doesn't bother me. Oh, that's gonna be interesting. Now I was about to say something. I said, well, I was going to say it doesn't bother me nearly as much as anything on Hit and Run Part 1. I just Hit and Run Part 1 just sounds like a bunch of unfinished ideas to me. That's what it sounds like. It just sounds like other than the slow jam is on there, right? 100,000 Hugs and Kisses. Is that on Hit and Run Part 1, 2, 1?
1, 2, 1.
Right.
1.2.
Yeah, there you go. So I would just say that I don't have any negative feelings when I listen to Teacher. And every time I listen to Hit and Run Part 1, except for maybe 1 or 2 songs, I just have negative feelings about and I want to be clear, they all sound like really good foundations that could have been something really great. So that's what I would say. So in my teacher, it doesn't bug me in the way, and maybe Hit and Run Part 1 just bugs me because I see what it could be. And maybe I shouldn't even be talking about it in the same way I'm talking about teacher. I just don't. Yeah, so it doesn't bother me that way. Yeah, just say, Brother Theo, that's like the only way I listen to Prince. Like I only listen chronologically. So right now, so like last week, so what I do is I listen to all the albums from the outtakes starting in 77 all the way through all the albums, the last one we got, and then I do all the tours. So last week, before we came on, I was telling Prof Duff I just finished listening to Slow Love from Sign of the Times. I just finished Glam Slam 92, and I'm listening to now Diamonds and Pearls live in Europe. So that's why I am in my chronological order of the tours. When I finish all the tours, I'm gonna listen to all the other stuff on all my non-Prince stuff, and then I'm gonna go back to 1977. So yeah, Brother Theo, I listen to Prince chronologically because those albums are like novels back to back to me. That's it. I said.
So, Celie, 1,000 Hugs and Kisses is on Hit and Run Phase 1. So
yeah, so I don't have negative feelings about that one, and maybe one other song, but everything else just sounds like an unfinished demo.
All right, and the other question is between the two versions of Strange Relationship, the original versus the one on the Super Deluxe with the extra layers of instrumentation from Wendy and Lisa. Which do you prefer?
Oh, the original. The Sign of the Times original. It's clean and it's funky. But I will say this: there's never a bad Strange Relationship anything. Like that is, and I, in fact, going on my chronological journey, man, what he did to that song at that piano on the Love Sexy tour. I mean, and when he breaks down, yeah. I mean, just come on, man. That's I don't think that Strange Relationship live gets enough love. So I will say that I am all for the original. I mean, when that bump, and I mean, it's about to, some ass is about to be kicked. That's what's about to happen with Strange Relationship. So yeah, so I'm the original one, but anything live, Dread Dances. I think I like June. June reminds me of a poem. It reminds me of one of those kind of abstract poems that are like, all right, I'll shut up. Let's get back to the regular schedule.
All right. Yep, because we got guests coming on. And so since you're here, Celie, we're gonna put you to work. And let's do Friday, June 21st.
Friday, June 21st, Strange Relationship Overdubs mix. Teacher, multiple mixes. The Complex Studio, Los Angeles, California. Producers Wendy and Lisa. Artist Prince. Engineer David Tickle. Wendy Coleman quote. I mean, Lisa Coleman quote. Lord, Wendy Coleman quote. I did it. Poor Lisa. That's my favorite Lisa story, though. Lisa says that she was out. She was always out somewhere, and people run up her and go, "It's Wendy and Lisa. It's Wendy and Lisa." She's like, "No, it's just one person standing here." Okay, let's move on. Lisa Coleman quote. if he saw something was working or something inspired him, whether it was a person or something somebody wore or something somebody played, he would follow that trail, and then things would follow really quickly. Nothing was ever really gradual, even though we would sometimes work on things for a really long time. End quote. Additional overdubs and mixing took place on Strange Relationship and Teacher Teacher. The session likely would pass midnight, so work on Teacher Teacher may have gone into the next day. To me, that just speaks to how free and unchained Prince was to follow his muse, right? I think that those of us who are artists who have other lives, who have children and grandchildren and other jobs, it's really impossible just to follow that muse when it hits. And I admire, because we think about that. I don't think people, and again, I'm not feeling sorry, but I don't think people realize how much Prince gave up for his art. And I'm not saying that, you know, I just say that as someone like me who's had real life get in the way of my art, and I've gone through a lot of different emotions, and having real life get in the way of my art, I just like, you know, that Lisa quote about the moment he was inspired, like it wasn't gradual, right? We remember the story with Jesse Johnson, right? When Jesse Johnson finally plays the song he likes, Prince thought, we're gonna record this like right now. And Jesse's like, tomorrow, no, get out the damn car. We're gonna record it right now. That is, I think, a credit to Prince being brave enough and courageous enough and knowing who he is to say this matters to me more than anything else. And I just have to give it up to that for those of us who, again, we've had to navigate life to make art. I'll shut up.
Yeah, that's a really important point. So there's you know, obviously another conversation going on in the chat. So we're gonna pick up with Sakia's question, and this was actually to C. Lee. Do you like artificial age?
My problem with artificial age was there was a break, and there was so many songs that came out at the time that a lot of the best songs don't appear on artificial age. So it's not that I don't like it. It's just that there was so many songs. Well, there was like a 3-year period, right? And was that like a 3-year? Because that was what did we get? It was 2010 and then artificial age. Or am I missing something?
I think that's right.
Yeah. So between 2010 and artificial age, there was so much. I just think that a lot of great songs that we got that we thought were going to be on the album didn't make artificial age. And so that was one. That's the only drawback. And so what I did was I put all of those songs on there. And the only thing I say, Sister Zakia, about Breakdown, and don't kill me, Sister Zakia, the only thing I'll say about Breakdown is not that I didn't like Breakdown. Come on, Air Supply and ELO, get the damn lasers. I mean, did we really need the lasers? So whenever I hear the lasers on Breakdown, I think ELO and Air Supply. That's it. I think Breakdown is a beautiful song. I agree with you. I think it's very vulnerable. But every time I hear them lasers, I just think, damn, was the producer for ELO and Air Supply in the studio? But yeah, so that's it, brother. Sister's Kid.
All right. So Michael, read about Saturday, June 22nd.
All right. Pop Life, Sheila's remix, overdubs, edits, Sunset Sound Studio 3, 12:30 p.m., 2:30 a.m. Producer, Susan Hale, spelled backwards. Artist, Sheila E., listed as Bugger Buttface, spelled backwards. Engineer, David Leonard, listed as Davy Crockett, spelled backwards. Assistant engineer, Mike Colster, listed as Mikey Baby, spelled backward. Quote?
Yes.
All right. Sheila E. Prince said, I just need you to mix that song. Mix it and get it done. And so I did. Sheila E. Starting at 12:30 in the afternoon, Sheila begins working on a remix of Pop Life. We were working with tape, recalled Sheila. So we're cutting up tape and cutting up the pieces and taping them to the wall and we would tape it back together, and that's how I edited the song. It was interesting because when you hear pop, 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 things like that, that's cut tape. You take a razor blade and you just start cutting all the pieces and putting it back together. It's so much easier now, but it's more fun doing it the other way. Normally, while Prince was away, he'd have a cassette created for his review, but it was apparent the remix of Pop Life was incomplete, so no cassettes were created of the session. Status: Sheila E's remix of Pop Life, 6 minutes and 16 seconds, titled as the Fresh Dance Mix, was released on the 12-inch of Pop Life on July 31st, 1985 in the United States. One of my favorite 12 inches, I have to add.
How did you feel about the word fresh in the dance mix?
At the time?
Yes, at the time.
Well, I will say at the time, I probably should have felt some other way about it, but I don't think I really paid too much attention to it. Looking at it now, it's funny to me because I'm like, wow, I remember that word fresh was such the thing at the time. I remember I had like a graffiti t-shirt that said fresh. I thought I was so fly about it. Like, oh, fresh. So it's interesting now that I kind of see what they were probably trying to do, sort of tie it to some sort of hip hop type of thing. But that's my thought.
Yeah, and we can't forget that Plectrum, Electrum, and Artificial Age were released on the same day, which I thought was really incredible. Yeah. And really quickly, I mentioned this before, but I really loved when Sheila wrote backwards. And in fact, if you remember all the Love Sexy fits, like all of her words were backwards because that's what she did. And when I got my first autograph from Sheila, she signed it backwards. So I love backwards, Sheila. But then at one point, she stopped doing it, but now I think she's back to backwards. So I was really happy for that. All right, I'm very excited because we got some guests and we don't want to make them wait. So we are going to bring to the stage Miss Roundtree. Welcome.
Hello. Hey, everyone. Good to see you.
Hello.
Hey, Mike. Long time. Celie. Hello. Good morning.
Hello, Claire.
How you doing? Sister Claire, nice to meet you.
Great. You too, Celie. You too.
And we want Cassandra to join us when she's ready. And then we're waiting for Simon Stone to join us. Hi,
Cassandra. Hey,
Very Claire.
Oh, I miss you already.
Yes.
Simon's in the house. Hey.
What's up, Stone Freak?
Hey, I want to start by being a little upset that some of y'all capping that y'all were buying some of those 90s Paisley Park CDs. I just want to start with that. Like,
hilarious. I didn't say I bought them.
Well, I did buy them.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I bought them. I ain't gonna lie. I bought them. I ain't gonna front.
I bought Tony Lamont's. I did buy that one. Forevermore still stays in rotation, but most of that stuff. Yeah.
All right.
I'll just say the only one I skipped was the two dudes that look like twins to me. Who's the two dudes?
Good question.
Yeah, that was the only one I skipped them. But everything else that came
was
out.
Was that before Milli Vanilli? Was they before Milli Vanilli or after?
Yeah, I think they were before Milli Vanilli. Okay. And I'll just say that George Clinton's Cinderella's Theory is my favorite non-Prince Paisley Park release. Like, but bottom down, Cinderella Theory is still in heavy rotation for me. So anyway, I'll shut up because we got great guests on.
Yeah, and we're waiting for one more person, but we're gonna get started. Hopefully, Marilyn is going to be joining us. So I'm very grateful for you to come on to What Did Prince Do This Week, so you can share your experiences. So what I'm going to do, because I hear a little bit of hissing. You can always mute yourself at the bottom when you're not speaking, and then you can unmute yourself by clicking on the button at the bottom. Thank you so much. And so we have Stone Freak who went off the tracks for celebration. So we're going to hear from Stone Freak, and then we have Cassandra.
Wait. Just because some people might not understand, what does that mean, off the tracks? Because
Stone Freak.
I can look at that brother and not know and be like, oh, he turned up, like he crashed out. Maybe
did he get arrested? What happened?
So, Freak, explain to the people what off the tracks mean.
Okay, so I didn't understand either. So off the track is basically you didn't necessarily go to Celebration, but you went. You didn't get the full package. Like I went to the concert. I went to First Avenue, but I didn't actually buy the whole package. I didn't go to the gospel brunch. I don't want y'all to clown me for being a heathen, but like I didn't do the whole package, you know. But I did. I was adjacent to the celebration. I was around there. You would see me.
Yes, and because
AKA parking lot pimping.
Yeah, exactly. That's
yes. So the reason why, at least the reason why I think they say it's off the tracks, because usually with Celebration you have 2 tracks. Well, and used to be multiple tracks. So in the beginning, people used to say, you know, off the tracks if you weren't going to Celebration proper. All right. So then we had Cassandra Bradley, who's almost always first in the chat. So we got to give some love to Cassandra for being
everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cassandra. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So talk to us about like your experience with general admission.
I'll say, and Claire can chime in anytime she wants. For me, it goes back to something I hear you guys say on the podcast every Saturday. You're at a stage in your life where you can't afford to go. And I was at a stage in life where you guys are when you had all the bootlegs and you were going to all the concerts. I couldn't do that. I had just bought my first house. So typically, and Claire can attest to this, I do VIP. But this year, the house decided it wanted 2 HVACs, 2 furnaces, and a toilet overflowed. Needless to say, I probably should have bought VIP because when you see the haul of everything I bought back, I just should have done VIP. But I've done GA since 2017 and 2018. And I will say day one when Londale walked out, you could tell he knew immediately that we had all responded in the survey the year before that we didn't want Purple Rain 2.0. So his response was, welcome back, and I apologize. He realized and he listened to us as to what we wanted. So this year came off stellar. And all the ATLians had to do was text me at the hotel and say the food was fabulous. I threw on clothes quickly and got there just because the food was great. But it's also great seeing all the Purple fam, you know, Simon and Claire and Marilyn, who's supposed to come on. So, oh, there you are, sis. Hey. So for me, that apology went a long way. When they had us in the room where they took away our phones, this is like day 3 or 4, you could tell they wanted to talk to us like family. So last week when Vanessa was on, I'm sitting at the gym, and D'Angela, you were pulling me away from the gym today.
Thank you.
I want an A in the class, okay? Because normally I'm at the gym, and I'm sitting there, and I'm just typing on my phone. I'm going, that's not right. You had to hear what he said. You needed to be like Hamilton in the room where it happens. So I'm like, I'm texting Tracy Humphrey saying, give me D'Angela's phone number. She's not on social media. And Tracy's like, I'm here in Atlanta working. Leave me alone. And then the next thing you know, Sunday, you reach out. And I'm like, and get Marilyn and somebody else with VIP. And we need the people that were off track because you got to hear it from every perspective, or else all you got was the John Bream his article. So Michael, I was on when you read his article, and that was good. But then if you weren't there, how do you know until we have a forum like this? So to have Bobby Z as the moderator, to finally have Laura LaPluma, who was the designer of the Around the World in a Day album, and to have Doug Henders there to physically say, Doug says, I was the one that wanted it to look like Sgt. Pepper's album. And for years, we kind of thought, oh, well, Prince approved it, Prince this and that. And he's like, yeah, I kind of was listening to it at the time, introduced it to him, and he felt good about it. You don't have that experience unless you're physically there. So I don't know what your other question was, but I can go.
No, we'll start there. We'll start with that, and then we got to welcome Marilyn. Thank you so much for being here. And then we're gonna Claire, talk to us about, like, I think you were VIP, right? You always go VIP. Is that correct?
I do. Yes, I've gone VIP to every posthumous celebration since 2017. I was not going to go this year for the first time to Purple Rain 2.0. I had no intention at all of going to Celebration, which is pretty wild for me. But when the estate pivoted, I love Around the World in a Day. I was very excited to hear that. So I went, and I'm so glad that I did. I'm so glad that I did. I don't even know if anything was Purple Rain. Honestly, I don't even remember anything from Purple Rain from this celebration. But much like Cassandra just spoke about, I felt like they really did finally take the feedback and put it into action. And I know Marilyn and I at the lunch, we were just kind of commenting that, oh my gosh, this feels like, yesteryear. This luncheon for us feels like it felt many years ago. And it was a very special, intimate thing. I would say the organization this year was, no contest in terms of getting it together a lot more this year. I didn't know how I was going to feel about having all of the concerts on one night. We've never had that.
Yeah.
But I was really happy we were back at Paisley Park and not downtown for those concerts. It's a really special place to be, of course, to hear music. And it worked out well. I thought it worked out really well. I've got pages of notes and quotes from that vault panel. I was writing everything down. That meant a lot. That meant a lot to me. And I told Mondell that. I felt like we needed that so badly after the past few years. We found out a lot. We found out a lot of information that I think was really useful to put things in perspective. I've been one of those people for sure that are like, where's the music? Where are the releases? When are we going to get more and more and more? Where's my Parade's super deluxe box set, which I'm dying for. And having the Sony executive there, I felt was extremely helpful because we really could hear from him. And he used the words, what a Herculean effort it is to even get through this man's vault, which we are not even halfway through the vault in terms of being digitized. So, if we want to go into all my notes and quotes from that panel, we certainly can. But the panels were great. The listening session that we first had, I can't remember what day, but that was wonderful. And then full-length concerts for the first time. We're used to getting, 20 minutes. 30 minutes, little teasers in Paisley Park for Celebration. This year, we got 2 full-length concerts. And the first one, of course, was the March 3rd, 86 warm-up show at First Avenue, which that is my era. So the visuals were great. The audio was great. I was beside myself. I was in heaven. It was a great experience. And I'm so glad that I went ahead and did it this year and didn't let last year just totally stop me. It was great.
Can I make one analogy?
Sure.
I kept telling Spicer, because I couldn't get to Rondell, it felt like, and some of you in the chat may have this experience, it felt like we went to marriage counseling. And before we got there, nobody's talking to each other and they're it felt like a true marriage counseling session. I'll do what Seaweed does, and I'll shut up now.
All right. So, Marilyn, can you talk to us? You went VIP.
Yes.
So doing right now, we're just doing like a little introduction, letting everyone know, like which version you experienced at Celebration, and then we'll really get into it. But just like sort of overall, and then we'll go back to Stone Freak to talk a little bit about Off the Tracks as well.
Okay, well, I sadly I didn't come in exactly on time. I was a couple minutes late. I was putting up my groceries in 90-degree weather, trying not to sweat and all that kind of stuff. So sorry about that.
No worries.
But I agree with both Cassandra and Claire. I know Cassandra went GA, I think for the first time. And this is I don't know, I've been coming posthumously, as Claire said, since, well, I came in 2016, but it wasn't Celebration. That was a big 5-hour concert for Prince and a lot of street festivals and stuff in his name. But 2018, I guess, was the first Celebration I went VIP. That was when they had so-called tracks. And this it did feel like old home week. You know, it was very familiar. I felt like we were heard. I hate to repeat the same thing, but I'm just co-signing. I'm in the amen corner, okay? I'm co-signing, especially what Claire said. It felt like they heard us. The way they pivoted, I got to talk to Londell a couple of times about how he recognized the outcry from the people. And it wasn't like, you're going to get what we give you. You know what I mean? People were falling back for real. Like, no. And people who go all the time were not going to go. And so I'm happy that they listened, that they did pivot. And yeah, I mean, from our VIP lunch the first day, it was together. It was great the way it had been before. You know, everybody was so solicitous and, you know, get more food. Like, we need you to have more. Like, do you need anything? It was like it used to be. Last year, I'm going to chalk up to being a one-off. The way they changed the dates, I think that was the first mistake. Maybe they did that to get certain acts to be able to participate. I don't know. I think their intentions were good for the 40th anniversary of Purple Rain. I mean, we got to see some good stuff like Billy Sparks. But yeah, last year was a disaster all the way around. It was as if they didn't know where they were, that it was going to rain, that we were going to be stuck in the rain trying to get food. But this year it was much better. And, you know, just in general, I think one of the biggest highlights for me was listening to the unreleased tracks. That's always a big deal. I seem to always be sitting next to Claire. and we get so into it. It's like I'll have my head down with my eyes closed and I'll peek out the side, and Claire's doing the same thing. Like we just let it wash over us. Just thinking about like, well, what was Prince thinking about at that time? What was he doing? You know, what was his life like? And what is this in his voice? You know, there were a couple of things that stood out, but until I guess we go into more detail about those particular songs or things, I'll just leave it there. That, and honestly, I had a great time at First Avenue. The fact that it wasn't super crowded, they had that air conditioning on for a change. Maybe they have it on all the time, but this time it was like it was blowing your hair. It was like, okay, I'd rather have this than just be in a pool of sweat, you know, like just sopping wet at the end of the night.
And so, Marilyn, this is where I jump in, because Marilyn and we literally navigated to the front. We found air conditioner and we stayed there. But I forced her because I've gotten COVID twice. And I'm like, I'm not getting it this year. You're going to stand here beside me and we're going to have air conditioner. We didn't move from that one spot the whole night. And no,
you wanted to see us, you had to come to us. That's right. Where we were. So, yeah.
That's interesting. You just mentioned about the COVID. I kind of remember people talking about that last time, and people got sick. It sounds like nobody really got sick or anything. That seemed like that may be a big thing that people might not even be realizing. Like, there wasn't any
super spreader event. Yeah, super spreader event. Last year, I didn't get it though. I didn't get it last year, but several people around me did. Cassandra, you got it, didn't you?
Yeah, and I missed 2 days of celebration. The insurance paid me back, but when I went to CVS, they said it was a European strain. But I think now it's sort of dying out. So
yeah, I was good. I was happy. I was good. And just the last thing I'll say that was a highlight for me was which I kind of didn't think it would be, because I'm like, yeah, they're going to get us down at the hotel and, feed us some BS or whatever. But I felt that that was an opportunity for Charles Spicer and Londell. And the guy from Sony, I think his name was Nick. I cannot remember his name. If you guys remember, chime in. But
it was Zach Hotkeppel.
Zach. Okay. Zach. I knew it was like a short name. So anyway, yeah, and have them talk to us and explain, that how they have wrapped their arms around this music thing and how you can't do everything necessarily the way the fans may want it, but that they're listening, they're paying attention. And I'm just gonna say this one thing, for Londell, he was calling people out in the audience. He was name checking all kinds of folks in the audience for being messy, for spreading rumor, just all kinds of stuff. Because I was like, why does he keep looking over there? And then he would point to that person and name check them. So those persons know who they are, and we'll just leave it at that.
I didn't hear about this part.
Hey. So Londell did everything except Paul. Talking about one more time. Paul. Okay, I'll stop. That's it.
Yes.
Wow, it was like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, he got into people being messy. It was like, this is what we do. And okay, like people read John's article, John Breen, who's a friend who is there. And of course, he's a journalist too. And he's very, he sees all sides, you know what I mean? He's not he doesn't trust everything that's said. He'll ask me later, like, did you believe that or whatever? And I have to be honest about different things. But I'm like, I think they were as transparent as they could be with us in that moment. And that's all you could do.
Yeah, I mean, small things like that. We can't just walk into the vault, or we know it's in Iron Mountain in California, and just pull something off the shelf and make it work. You've got to go through Sony, WB. They've got to get together. They got to do a test pressing. If there's skips and pops in the test pressing, they got to start the whole process over. I don't know if you've done where you pulled someone in from a record plant and interview them, but I think we need that education.
Yeah.
That was very telling.
Yeah. And the fact that this part was real funny. Londell kept saying, for all y'all to think you're gonna die tomorrow. So I put a slash by your name, D'Angela.
Yeah.
And I'm a program manager, and a slash means I have an action item. When I finish the action item, I put another slash so that it shows it's complete. So for me to come on here is I've completed my action item. You're not going to die tomorrow. They're trying to work as fast as they can, but all of us hang in there. You're not going to die. It's Herculean, as Claire said, to be able to get all of these different companies together to even get some music out. And I think Claire and Marilyn, keep me honest, he said of all the people living and dead, we've gotten 170 unreleased or released records, and there's no other artist that has put out that much that we've gotten.
Yeah, Zach mentioned, he said, look, I've worked with so many music catalogs, Miles Davis, et cetera, et cetera. He said, I have never seen anything like Prince's Vault. Never. Hence why it's only currently 45% digitized. And this is after, I guess, fairly speaking, 6-7 years. So Zach was just astonished at the amount of material. Londell followed that up by clearly saying, we have thousands and thousands of both 2D and 3D assets. Thousands and thousands. That helped also put it into better context because, again, of course, I want the music, I want the videos, I want the concerts, I want it all, right? That could be my full-time job. But hearing about the pressing process, and later talking to Charles about that, and hearing from him that there are only 2 places in the world that they're able to use to even press this material. That was a little bit mind-blowing too. He shared that with me. Mm-hmm. And one thing, I guess we're going to get into it, I don't know about the vault panel, but we heard a lot of great news. You know, we really heard a lot of great news. I mean, we're getting ready to see, not a super deluxe, of course, but a box set of Around the World in a Day this year. It is going to be released. We're looking at the Parade Super Deluxe next year, which, I mean, thank goodness, hopefully I'll be alive then, right? They're really committed to getting into a much more rhythmic cadence with regard to releases. So there might be a box set release followed by some digital releases, followed by et cetera, et cetera. They really want to get in step with having more frequent releases that we can sort of count on, if you will. That's a large task as well, obviously.
And what about the different configurations? I thought that was interesting, talking about not always having the super deluxe that's at a certain price point. That was an interesting.
Yeah, that's great too. I mean, hence why I think we'll see more digital assets released, right? Because those super deluxe box sets, I mean, really are for us, right? They're not for everybody that we want to turn on to prints, right? Everybody isn't a vinyl head. Everybody doesn't want the heaviness and the weight of those super deluxe box sets. The other thing that was really cool as well, we were told that in 2026, we will see the release of Prince's biggest collaboration ever. His biggest musical collaboration ever. I immediately said, is it Lenny Kravitz? No, it's not. So that's exciting.
Oh, I'm sorry. Back up. What did you just say? They're going to do what?
I just said, yeah. So we were told that in 2026, Mike, we're going to see Prince's biggest musical collaboration ever that will be released. And it is not with Lenny Kravitz, because I checked on that. So that's exciting. They really talked that up. We talked about, of course, a lot about the documentary and why it's not a lot. And, not a lot that we haven't already heard, but it's not coming out. So there's another one in the works. And I had asked they were talking about, it's an Academy Award winning director at the helm. And I said, is it Ryan Coogler? And Charles said, no, but Ryan and his wife Zinzi are attached to a jukebox musical about Prince. They're both attached to that project, which I thought was great. I thought that was really exciting. They're also working on nationwide cinema releases. Mm-hmm. They're working on that as well. Even a celebration from all the celebrations, sort of putting that together. And in my notes and quotes, Charles said that's about a 2 to 2.5 year project.
And they said the first celebration, Prince had already edited himself, gave them the blueprint, so that one's ready to go.
Yeah. And they played 2002 in the MPG Music Club. They streamed that.
That was on a loop.
That was on a loop.
Yeah.
While simultaneously listening to the second full-length concert at Paisley Park. So that panel was extremely satisfying. Mm-hmm. I think it was as satisfying as it could possibly have been. Really.
Right. They were very candid with us. And yes, they did talk about the Purple Rain stage musical. Some people, I still have my ticket. I'm still going in November 15th. And, some people were kind of skeptical, like, how's that really going? And according to Londell and Charles, it's going fine. I mean, they said, at one point, things kind of got away from the director and it wasn't the thing that they had envisioned, but it's been pulled back. He's been reined back in for whatever reason. And I guess the intimation was he got a Tony and he changed. So they've let him know that, no, it's this. This is what we need. And so I'm looking forward to seeing it. I mean, if they cancel it again, I don't know what I would do. But some people are like, well, if it gets to Broadway, I'll go there. But I'm going to support and see them hopefully in November. But yeah, they say it's coming along great. So,
Marilyn, do you think that's because Bobby Z got more involved than before, or was he already involved?
He was involved. He was involved, but maybe they needed him more. Do you know what I mean? Bobby seems to be very present with everything. You know, he was at the talk, and he was there. He got a special award, the performance night. I think that was the second time they gave that Lifetime Achievement Award to someone at Paisley Park. And Bobby, of course, definitely deserves it. I mean, he's been in the trenches from day one. And yeah, I mean, just talking. I think I talked a little bit with him and Vicky later on. We came down the elevator together. And even Bobby said, he was like, it's going to be fine. He says, the musical is great. He said, it's fine. He says, you don't have anything to worry about in that regard. I just remembered that we actually had a small conversation about it. No, Morris Day is not involved with the musical. The musical, guys, from last year, I mean, what they also reiterated at this time, it's not Purple Rain on stage, right? It's inspired by
It's an adaptation.
Exactly. Using most of the music, even though last year we heard like interpretations of different things. I enjoyed it last year as well. I enjoyed their interpretations, and if they went away from that and now have been brought back to it, good for them. So yeah, Bobby Z said everything is fine. So I have to believe that.
So Stone Freak, talk to us about your off the tracks experience and what were you hearing as you ran into people who were nice. Hold that up one more time. So I didn't have you full.
See it where he signed it? I'm trying to see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
See it.
Just real quick, y'all are talking about COVID. I just got to tell this, right? So last year I was off the tracks too. I went to the Second Revolution show at the First Avenue, and I had got myself some scrubs and my mask, and I had on like a bandana that was like a Prince bandana from the Love Sexy thing that we have here. And everybody walked up to me and said, "You're not going to catch COVID. That's a good idea. I should have done that. You're not going to catch COVID." Rich Benson was the only person that realized I was dressed as Dr. Fate. Nobody else knew. Everybody else like, man, that's a good idea. You're not going to catch COVID. I was a little tight about that, but you know, now let's move on to what we're supposed to be talking about. So I went to, you want me to just talk about the events, right?
No, yeah. I just give us an overview, like a vibe check first, and then we'll get into it. Meaning tell us what was your decision behind going off the tracks, and you said the past couple of times, and let us know, and I think it's really important for people to know that you can have a great time off the tracks just as much as going to Celebration, just to encourage more people to show up around that time. And then we'll continue talking. You can go into some details later, but just like a general sense.
Okay, so a general sense for me, I love Purple Rain. That movie inspired me to be a musician. I would have never been on tours or anything without Purple Rain. I'm gonna say that first. But I am Purple Rained out. I'm okay with them moving on from Purple Rain. I mean, we have 40 some odd official releases and hundreds of bootlegs. Let's please move on. So when they said Purple Rain Part 2, I was totally like, I was not interested in the least. Like there was nothing about it that I felt that I would be able to gather that would be new information or anything that I had never heard before as far as Purple Rain was concerned. I have 20 books on my shelf. I have, watched so many videos and documentaries. I'm just okay with not learning anything else about Purple Rain at this point, right? So when I heard that Jesse Johnson was coming and the family, I've never seen either or. So I was like, oh, wait a minute. And then come to find out, my musical mentor, Manya Crawford, is working with Jesse Johnson directly. I was like, okay, so I have to go to that. I hope they do day tickets, which they did. So I got a day ticket for Paisley to see the performances. I did not catch the first two acts, the new artists. I didn't catch them, but I did see the family, Jesse, and the time. All of them were mind blowing, especially Jesse. I really, really enjoy Jesse, not just because I have a dog in the fight with my musical mentor working for him directly, but Jesse, the way he pivoted from being like the hard rock blues for the first couple songs and then pivoted into his hits and the funk stuff, that was everything I needed. I was actually a little bit bored after everything after that. That was like that really moved me. I was really surprised how good the Family as a band were. They were really good. Kirk deserves a little bit more props than he gets. He was really doing a good job. St. Paul, of course. I got to meet Jerome, which is a big thing for me. That was really like a highlight as well. The Time, I've seen The Time probably 14 times, probably 13, 14. That's probably my 13th to 14th time seeing The Time. And I was glad they pulled out a couple different songs, because typically when I've seen them give or take one song, they do the same set for the most part. So that was kind of cool to see them kind of do a couple little fun Easter eggs and add in a few extra things. The vibe with everybody within Celebration, if you've never been, go just for the fellowship, because this is, to me, it's a purple music mecca. Like, you can't, there's everybody, it's all love. I have never felt like it's always people embracing you. Like, I was at the rooftop event and people were like, "Hey, you're Stone from Facebook, give me a hug, let's take a picture." I had no idea who some of these people were. That's what I was saying earlier, like, "Hey, good to see you," you know what I mean? Then it's the other thing of being in Paisley Park. There's a feeling you get being in there when you see especially certain people. Like, I got to talk to Bobby Z, I think Roseanne, Ange, somebody else was standing there when we were talking to him. I mean, he was so warm and welcoming. It was like talking to your uncle at a family reunion. Like, he was really like warm, and it was like he wanted to talk. Like, he was like, "Yeah," and such and such. I got to meet Brooke. I talked to Brooke twice. That was really cool. He had Frank on, by the way, just so y'all know. He had Frank on. Huh?
I said that's great that he had Frank on.
He had Frank on, the furry hat. He had that on. The rooftop, I mean, the Purple Hide, that's always a really good vibe. Like, just, I mean, literally, people are just walking up to you, hugging you. Like, everybody is just glad to be there. I unfortunately didn't get to do the block party too much because I have my siblings live in Minnesota and my sister's birthday was that day, so I didn't get to see a lot of it. But even that, the little bit I saw was great. I mean, like, it's really amazing to be in Minnesota during that time. You really get a vibe that you can't get. Like, there's some local things we do in Atlanta. Love Sexy, DJ Salon, DJ Kimmett does. And I mean, there are a couple other things. But nothing compares to being in Minnesota during the celebration. I would recommend anybody to go, even if it's too out of your price range or it's a situation where you don't want to see necessarily the panels and things like that. If that's not your cup of tea, still go and do something while you're there, because you won't be disappointed. I mean, First Avenue has tours. There's a lot that you can do. So I would recommend anybody go, at least do one celebration if you don't do anything else. I really highly recommend it. I will be doing celebration next year for parade, and hopefully I can have my silk pajamas on,
So one of the questions I want to ask all of you is, so I really wanted to come this year, but similar to Cassandra, I actually had to get a lot of dental work done. And even though I have insurance, it costs a lot of money. So I was sort of shut down. And I almost went to the day, got the day ticket, but I was like, that would be financially irresponsible for me to do it. But I was also concerned about prior celebrations where you would get a concert per day. How was the experience from all of you of having the concert all at one time? Claire?
Well, as I said before, I wasn't sure how I really felt about that, but it worked out fine, just fine for me. And I think one thing that I actually appreciated was the first two artists that performed really performed more as if it was a showcase. I want to say they did maybe 2 songs each. Maybe I'm wrong about that, Marilyn. I can't even see. 2 or 3 songs each. So that, it was quick. We got to see who they are. They got to showcase their talents a little bit. And then we moved on to the main events, if you will. So I didn't feel like, oh God, I can't believe we're here for 5 hours. It really flowed pretty well for me. And much like, Simon said, I mean, Jesse, I was there to see him again. He's unbelievable. The family show was great. I've seen Morris a lot, so I dipped out a bit early, but I heard he was just really on point this year. I thought it worked well. I wasn't opposed to it. And in some ways, I thought it worked better because overall, for me, I'm not a morning person at all. So the programming this year, I didn't feel it was as demanding. We're out all day, we're out all night, and then having to be at Paisley Park so early, that's tough. That's tough. So I felt like with all those concerts on the Friday night, I didn't have anywhere to be really Saturday till like 1, which was dynamite. Right. So I felt like they even sort of listened to us about that feedback. We don't want to have 3 hours sleep a night if we can help it. So, yeah, I thought it worked great. That's my opinion on that.
I think that I'll just concur. I think the way they had everything configured this year was very smart, is very useful and efficient. Not having us downtown except really one day just to go to that panel really and listen. The street festival, I kind of felt that was for the people who live there. We always have this struggle when we go there, when we show up at the airport or the rental car or whatever, and they're like, oh, what are you wearing? Or you look nice. What is that? And you say, oh, it's Prince. And they don't know what you're talking about. They don't know anything about Celebration. So when I saw all the beautiful digital signs everywhere downtown, and I mean, they had everything covered. The rain, it was raining a little bit, but from what I saw, people participated and people enjoyed it. On Saturday morning, I went to the open house just to kind of see what they had going on. And that was a nice leisurely optional thing I decided to go to. But yeah, I agree. Getting back to the original point, having the artists there for one evening, that's the evening of the shows, so to speak. And yeah, the first one, I think was a Johnny Venus, or let me see, I actually have my little thing. Yeah, Johnny Venus. Here in the ATL, he did 2 songs. And then Jada Nicole did 2 songs, the second of which was Sometimes It Snows in April. And it was stunning. She did a beautiful job. Claire, she did.
She did. She did do a beautiful job.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. And then, they have the stage set up so that boom, now we're into the music, and Jesse did his thing. Jesse Johnson, we saw him in 2019. And it was an interesting time then because it was a little contentious. People were saying what they weren't going to do and what they were, all this kind of stuff because they were mad at him or whatever. But he wasn't interviewed this time. He just came for the music, and he did a great job. He talked to us throughout the thing. He had this stream of consciousness going. He's talking about his girlfriend, saying that she's evil. And then next thing you know, he loved her. It was, he's had this dialogue going with
he was funny.
Yeah, he was very funny.
He was very focused on Tammy too. Don't leave that out. For whatever reason, he was like beeline to Tammy, like every couple minutes he was like, right there, right? Yeah, he loved Tammy.
He was funny. It was like at first we couldn't hear him. There was a little audio problem, but they got it together. So yeah, he pulled us into his world, into his thing, and it was great. His outfit was great, and gave him a little bit of the blues, but because it was so fringy and getting all caught in his guitar, but it was good. And I was happy to see the family. I feel, and I think maybe me and Claire discussed this, that they kind of seemed more relaxed, like they could let loose. Like I think when we saw them again, I think 2019, that was a weird thing because people left before they even finished. They were very lackluster when they were F Deluxe. And this time they had their thing going. I talked briefly to St. Paul outside at the food truck right before. I said, "Aren't you supposed to get ready to?" He had his mouth full of tacos. He was just like, "Yeah, like I'm an old pro at this kind of thing," But when they got on stage, they were very good. They were into it. They were having fun. They seemed to enjoy having Jerome up there. Jerome Benton never missed a beat.
Not
He
one.
was into the audience, wasn't he? He was into us.
Yeah.
He was great.
Into his thing.
Yeah.
He was fantastic. And I feel like it just all came together. It was as if he had never left. And Morris Day, Morris Day and the Time, not really my thing. I've seen him a few times, sadly, more times than I've seen Prince. But I remember that by saying, every song that comes out of your mouth is from Prince. So there you go. So he was engaged. I felt like he was engaged. I stayed for the whole thing. And he was very engaged. It acted like he was having a great time.
Yeah. I was happy he didn't do the exact same set too. No disrespect to him. I mean, I'm a fan still, but they added some song, like some of his solo work, and they added some just little knick-knack things in there that I had never heard them really do. I was like, okay, because usually it's like the exact same 8-song set that I've seen them do. And this time they were really it seemed like they were really focused to really tear the house down. That was really, really refreshing to see.
And
were you there last year when they did MPG? Was their band last year? It was really bad. It was not good at all last year.
Yeah.
But Marilyn and Claire, because I missed 2 days last year, and Lundell said at the Vault meeting, he literally had to pull Mars Day and Primary Wave together to talk. Remember when So do you think that Mars probably added more deep cuts because now he could? And
I think so.
Yes.
Maybe
him and the family. I think the family, now that they're the family, no longer at Deluxe.
Yeah.
Morris Day and the Time. Remember how he was retiring? He was retiring. This is my last show. And now he's not retiring.
Yeah.
I think they all have signed agreements. All flags are up and everything is good again. You can tell the difference.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And the one thing I'll say about Jesse, for all the ladies in the chat, I don't know which is sexier, Jesse or his guitars. I'm just like, I've never seen guitars that have this much bling. And in the project management world, we always say, don't let the bling take you off a scope, budget, and resources all the time. I zoned out just looking at the guitars, but he has a stream of consciousness to where he can, like Ricky, he's talking and playing the whole time, and he's telling stories from when he used to live in Minneapolis and who he used to date and blah, 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 blah. But it seemed to work.
Yeah. You almost wanted him to stop playing for a minute and just sit down and talk. Like, man, just tell the story. Don't worry about the song. We'll get back to that. Just tell the story. He's hilarious. He's really funny dude.
I'm gonna ask you guys a question. Just the one thing from each of you. What was the one thing that blew your mind this year?
And Claire, I apologize. I keep muting you because you have like a hiss to your.
Okay. Let me try to fix that. Hold on.
Yeah. So who wants to start off? We'll go with Cassandra just because Cassandra's always first in the chat.
I'll say what I said at the beginning, and Marilyn, you probably weren't here. Just that Lundell talked to us, Spicer talked to us, rather than us being on X, Instagram, Facebook, blasting them. We got a look behind, here's my real life. When Lundell said, I literally had to get Morris Day and Primary Wave to go to a deli in California. I had to fly out there and I paid for it myself. And there's band members that are mad at one band member and another. And behind the scenes, we're having to take energy away from what we need to do as the estate and fix those relationships, because even Laura LaPuma and Doug Henders hadn't even met, and they began hugging on stage at the end. And it's just like, I get emotional at anything, but I was emotional just these two people are hugging, because Prince kept everyone separated, or not that he kept them separated, but he's busy. He's got to put this out. I ain't got time for y'all to meet each other, whatever. But I think for me, having gone to marriage counseling twice, I've never been married. That's a good thing.
Huh?
That did it.
Wait a minute.
That means
that's the real conversation.
Yeah, that means I was listening to what the psychologist was saying, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna dip on out on these two."
Hey,
wow. Okay.
Hey,
wow.
They only fail because they try. They only fail because they try.
Like Taraji says,
the counselor was like, "Yeah, this ain't gonna be for me. Y'all take it easy."
Talk amongst yourselves.
Taraji P. Hinton said, "I cannot raise someone who is unhealed. You got to heal yourself." And the minute, and I have a minor in psychology, but the minute I knew someone wasn't healed, I was like, deuces, I'm out.
Okay. I respect that.
And I'll shut up now.
Nah, that was good.
Well, since my mic is on, I will go ahead and say just a couple of things. Another question is what stood out for me. Oh God. Okay, so let me start. This might be a subset, but I told Londell last year, and I think, okay, they started 2023, I guess. And I told him last year, I said, when we come to Paisley Park, and then I actually wrote it in our feedback, when we come to Paisley Park, boom, we need Prince immediately. We don't want to be talked to about a whole bunch of stuff and, oh, this is the moderator and blah, blah. I said, Prince. And he laughed. I said this to other people. They laughed. But guess what? This time, as soon as we got there and sat our butts in the chairs, like it was Tommy and Jessica, like greetings, blah, blah, blah. We're so happy. Prince, that movie of him, really both of them. It was 2 different days. And I like that we got the full concerts. It was fantastic. I mean, just the lights go down, you're at Paisley Park, and there's Prince. It was fantastic. But the thing that really gets me every time, and I've asked Charles Spicer, why can't we get these things? He says he's sprinkling. This is his movement. I'm sprinkling them. Those songs, every year, like that, All the King's Horses, they did 2 years in a row. They didn't do it this year. They did it last year and the year before. The one last year had strings. Lev Never Has to Say Goodbye. Prince did Ain't No Way. Ain't No Way, C. Lee. We're talking Carolyn Franklin / Aretha Franklin. It was crazy. Just listening to his voice. And it was very emotional. I mean, I know Claire got emotional. I got emotional. And hearing shades of umber and just to me, the music was really powerful, listening to that music. And I love that we got that as VIPs. We got to enjoy that. I like the fact that, sorry, GA, or off track, that we got to have those experiences for this extra money we pay. I have no problem with that. And one other thing I want to say, we talked about Doug Henders and Laura LaPuma. Okay, I worked at Warner Brothers with Laura. Tommy LaPuma is her uncle. Okay, he produced George Benson, a whole bunch of people. Okay, that wasn't necessarily Prince, not Cassandra, not having them meet. That's the record company. That's the way they did things. Laura was in house. Laura was there. She was like upstairs in the PR department and all of that. Doug is somebody different. Very nice man from what I can tell from meeting him. But one last thing I want to say about this. Nadine asked this question. I was like, I know Nadine does not have her hand up at the end of the thing, like interrupting. But guess what she asked? She asked a very pertinent question. She said, that image from Purple Rain, the eyes and the red lips, is that Stevie Nicks? God, y'all, the answer is no. He said it's just somebody he made up. He says it might not even be a woman. It's definitely not Stevie Nicks.
He said androgynous.
Androgynous.
Yeah. So before,
okay, I'm gonna mute you because my doorbell's ringing. Hold on.
Okay, no problem. So Claire, I have a question. In terms of those 2 concerts, were they available to the general admission, or was it just VIP for the 2 full concerts? I'm curious, and that's the question in the chat.
The first concert, which was the warm-up, March 3rd, 86 First Avenue. God, I hope I'm not wrong here. That was just a VIP day, period. So I think we just got to see that because Thursday was only, the day was just for VIPs. The second concert, I'm looking at my program right now. I think that was just for VIPs. Somebody correct me. Well, Cassandra, did you see them?
No.
Did you see these concerts?
No, the one I saw was the Wembley Arena, 1995, March 3rd, the Gold Experience. Did you see that one?
Okay, so you saw the full-length concert on Sunday after the Gospel Brunch. You did not see the March 3rd, 86 First Avenue. So that was just VIP. That was the first day. Yeah, and it was a thing of beauty. Man, there's a version of it, of course, on YouTube. We've probably all seen it, but the visuals are horrible. The audio is nothing. To see this full-length show, Prince was so joyful. He was so joyful. It's incredible.
So Marilyn, I just want to thank you for that has been my main criticism for the past 2 celebrations I've been in. I was so used of starting the day with Prince, meaning a Prince concert in particular, that was the thing that was missing for me, because I also wanted to, I'm going to be honest, as far as I'm concerned, we don't need any concerts, meaning live concert. Just give me Prince footage. I can be in Paisley Park 5 hours looking at Prince footage and I would be fine. So they could cut a lot of costs if they need to cut costs and just play Prince video. That's really all I need. So I'm so happy to hear that they listen to you, and Prince should definitely be the focus of any celebration.
The focus. He is the reason. He is the reason. Yeah.
Definitely.
And the panels give you background.
Oh yeah, I mean, yes, of course. And I enjoy I definitely enjoy the panels, but for me, because I go to a lot of academic conferences about music, and there's a lot of talking about music and not necessarily a focus on the music. And for me, there should be a focus always on the music. So Claire, what was the one thing for you that stood out?
Well, I wish I could pick one. I'll say 3 things. First, seeing that full-length 2.5-hour concert in its really what I would consider a much more mastered state. It was just such a joy for me that first day, again, because it is absolutely my favorite era. That was my favorite. My first Prince concert I ever saw was on the Parade Tour, so it has a lot of meaning for me. And then definitely the listening session. The listening session. What an incredible experience. And some of these songs you've heard, no doubt, but there's always something I haven't heard. There's always something I haven't heard from the vault, and that is just, it feels like a wonderful little secret for a minute, that we hope will be released later. I wish all this music was released, but that's a joy. And then I have to say, just for the information, just for the experience, it was that panel, that vault panel. Really, without question. I mean, I told Londell afterwards, I said, I feel like I can breathe a little bit now. We really needed this, and he just gave me a big hug, and that felt good. I felt like we were finally getting some just real meaty factual information, and that's good after almost 10 years.
Thank you for that. And Claire, your mic sounds so much better now. Whatever you do is amazing.
Thank you. Good.
So you don't even have to mute now. You're good.
Okay, good.
So
can I ask another question? Just for those who weren't there like myself, what can you? I know you guys got notes. What were like? Can we just go through the songs real quick, just to say what those songs were that were the unreleased ones?
Sure. Well, the first one we heard was simply an untitled jam session. It was almost 9.5 minutes long. It was incredible because it was Prince, Michael B., Sonny T., and Tommy Barbarella. So there you go. I mean, how wouldn't that be good, right? The second song we heard was the recently released free acoustic version. Just so emotional. It was incredible. And then I really dug this. The third one, of course, was the studio version of Shades of Umber. And it was just a mind blower for me. I wrote notes. I mean, I felt like I was at a symphony. I just, yes, we know the Montreux version, etc. This version was just, it's got to be released. I hope it's released. It's luscious. It is incredible.
What was the reaction from the fans when these songs would come on?
Michael, I wouldn't know because I'm like Marilyn and I are sitting together and we're just so completely into the music. People are quiet. Do you know what I mean? It's a very quiet, almost sort of church-like experience. It's a very reverent experience. So nobody's yelling. Nobody's, there might be some, oh my God, what? But we're really just so there with the music. So that Shades of Umber studio version, delicious. Then of course we got Ain't No Way, which that was incredible with his falsetto. I don't even know what to say about that. That was bananas. Then the song came on, Call of the Wild, but I think most of us probably know that as 9 to 5 People, right? Most of us have heard that song as 9 to 5 People. Then we got an instrumental of Question of You, which was just straight up Carlos Santana. I mean, that's all that was. It was just Prince straight up just doing some crazy Carlos Santana instrumental Question of You. It was unreal. And somebody was on percussion, maybe Sheila E. I'm not sure. That's just a guess. And then we heard a funky little song about 5 minutes long. Hi, Rodney. Called Beat Town. I really like this. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, this is so Graffiti Bridge. And I'm like, really? Is it? Maybe it is. I just thought it was such a funky track. I love this track. It reminded me sort of more of like a little, I don't know, Dream Factory Parade, but many people are saying Graffiti Bridge, but it was funky. Then we got an instrumental, a jazz instrumental entitled A Couple of Miles. And that was recorded December 26, 85. And that really just made me think of, Prince at home around the holidays alone, like he often was, just doing his thing, recording. It was beautiful.
And wasn't it a tribute to Miles though?
It was a tribute to Miles. Yeah. A Couple of Miles. Yes. Love Never Has to Say Goodbye. We all know that song. That was an outtake that we heard. Beautiful. I know Marilyn loved that one. And then we heard from a rehearsal for a show. It was at the St. Paul Civic Theater, I believe, 84, The Ladder. We heard a rehearsal version of The Ladder. I hope I'm not missing anything, but those are the tracks that I believe we heard. I think I got them all. Tell me if I didn't. But it's always so special to have that listening session. It's one of the highlights for sure.
Awesome. Thanks for the breakdown.
You bet.
And so we need to be on Charles's butt about getting these songs out. I mean, I talked to him in the session, also privately, like, look, for me, the originals is an album that can be revisited. Yeah. I love hearing it. I said, we need a second part to that. And saying that also, guess what? Sadly, no, he didn't. He was just like, I agree. Okay, so we're in agreement. That's good. I said, but also these songs that you sprinkle on us every year, where are they? And then he goes, well, didn't I release Free last night? And blah, blah, blah. Next time it won't be overseas. It'll be in America. I said, yes, but you know what I'm saying. We want a compilation. People need to hear these different shades of Prince, and I'm hoping that that they're listening. All I can do is kind of reiterate and talk and kind of hem people up and say it again and stuff like that. But
and if I can piggyback off of that, we also need some of the unreleased video, like things like The Second Coming is done. It's finished. There was a guy that did, I think it was in Wax Poetic magazine, the guy that directed it said he gave him the finish. This was like maybe in 2000 or something like that. He gave Prince the finished product of The Second Coming. It's done. You don't necessarily have to do everything as a big box set or a big presentation. Sometimes the thing to do with something like that, it's a holy grail for a lot of us who are, fam. Put it right there on YouTube and let the views go up. Just put it on YouTube. You don't even have to do, because you're going to make money off of the views regardless. So just go ahead and just put it out. Put some of this stuff out that, the Love Sexy documentary that we always see the little, 15, 20 seconds of it, 2 minutes or whatever we see. Put that stuff out. Just put it out. It's not going to hurt anything. You will make money regardless,
Yeah.
He did say they're thinking about Toomey, but Toomey is not it's not nationwide. It's just in the United States.
Yeah.
And people were asking like Hit and Run phase 1 and 2 and Sealy Don't Fall Over and AOA. Those don't need to be remastered. Can you put those out? And he said, yeah, as a record store day release, we can do it. And then this is the part I didn't understand because I'm not a musician. Someone asked Charles Spicer, like what Marilyn was saying, instead of sprinkling, can't you put this out? And he says, well, what if I've got it on a C90 and I've got it on a 12 millimeter and I've got it in all these different formats, and we're only 45% done with digitizing. Would you want us to put it out now or wait until we get it all? And people were like, now. And he's like, okay, but then they could have histories and pops. Are you sure you want it? And a lot of people were like, yeah. And some were like, well, no, we want it remastered. So, I mean, you're going to get a deep purple, a lavender, a purple, wanting it a different way, but they're not quite there yet.
I think he already said that they're not going to do that. They don't care about it. They understand it. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, because Wandale said Prince never lived his life that way. So I'm not just going to put something out there just to make money.
Yeah, they're going to do different configurations, as we said earlier, just different things that will come out in different times. You know what I mean? It'll be like a one-off, or like you said about the YouTube or whatever. They'll find different ways to put out things in different configurations because everybody's not the same. That's what they're learning. Everybody doesn't need the same things. The price points are high, and I think they really understand that. But to your point, he was saying, some of the songs we heard, as a matter of fact, like Love Doesn't Have to Say Goodbye, was on a cassette. He's like, we get these things. Prince doesn't, write down the exact, like you may pick up something, think it's one thing, and it's something totally different. So that's why it's taken them so long to go through everything, because it was just in there. It's just in the vault. They have to go in, listen to every single thing. Don't read it and think you know what it is, because he might have wrote, it's just a toss off for him. Just throw it in the vault. You got to look. And I thought another interesting thing was that his cousin, or is that his nephew Johnny, Torres was saying that there's a lot of family footage in there. He says they found that Prince filmed the family all the time, their family. And these are things that he says, you haven't seen in decades, things from childhood and stuff. Prince filmed all that stuff, and it is in the vault. I thought that was interesting on a different level for just his family to have those archives of their experiences. So.
What was the vibe of the attendees? And I'm curious the representation in terms of just the different age groups, of the fans and things like that. Versus, it sounds like you guys go every year, so you can really gauge sort of where it was this time. So I'm curious to hear what your thoughts on that observation.
Well, I felt like last year they really oversold VIP tickets. I don't have numbers for this, but I have my own eyes. So I felt like this year, to me, it felt more intimate, but we still had a wide range of people from, frankly, all over the world. Right. We've got our international brothers and sisters that very much flew in this year. Age range, I wouldn't say we had a ton of people in their 20s, for example, right? We really didn't. There was a few. But I think we probably had about, I don't know, 1,000. What do you think? 1,000 VIP, 750? I'd say maybe 750 VIP, something like that. 600. I don't know. Yeah, I thought it was a good crowd. The vibe was great. Everybody was seemingly very happy to be there. I heard very little complaining, which was totally different than last year. I felt like all we did was complain. I mean, to keep it real, all we did was really, there was a lot to complain about. So I felt it was really positive. People's energies were elevated. They were happy to be here. I felt like the sense of community was tremendous, as I always do, but it just felt like, again, we kind of hearkened back to yesteryear with this year's celebration, and it just felt really warm and wonderful to see everybody.
People were very, just like standing outside of the Lofton after the talk to us. I was down there like, oh, it's getting ready to rain. I'm getting ready to go to my car. And I saw Phil Sims and Earl Clement. And I think I'd seen Rich Benson. I said, I'm going to go look at your installation again or something like that. Yeah. But there was a guy, his name was Mike. I don't know who he was, but he's just standing there while we're talking, and he just walks up and just kind of joins the conversation. And I was like, this is so cool that people that you don't know from, all over the world just step up and they're like, you're talking about Prince. This is something that I'm interested in. And he introduced himself, and we talked for a little while, and next thing you know, him and Phil were walking down the street to the street festival. So that was cool, and there were a couple of people in their 20s, that remember the lady who
TikTok,
the AI lady, remember her?
Yeah. I was going to speak on a 22-year-old young girl from St. Louis. I am from St. Louis, but this kind of harkens back to after a couple of the symposiums. Michael Dean, you brought on a young brother who felt like when you're younger, and the term that the girl used was old heads don't kind of let you in. She had a very good point when the question came up about using Prince music in the back of rap songs. I'm forgetting the terminology now.
Sampling.
Sampling. And there's another term. So she stood up. She said, I'm however old I am, and you old heads. And the room went.
How dare you? She was 22.
22. And afterwards, I walked up to her, and some other people were talking to her, and you could see her demeanor, like her shoulders were up here, but I could hear her say, "And I am a musician." And as I walked up to her, I was about to say, I agree with you, because listening to QLS, Questlove Supreme, when Bob James was on, Bob James said, yeah, I was losing, my royalties. It was going to these rappers and all this other stuff. He said, but fast forward to today, they invite me on their albums. I'm getting paid. And a fourth or a third of my audience now is a younger group who want to hear me play. So it brought them to him. And so, she used that term, but I think she had been so beat upon probably over social media, all this other stuff. Plus, I'm from St. Louis. We are a special breed of women there. We get that first. and then kind of come down. And now that I've lived in Georgia, it takes me a little while to get up to that roller coaster edge, and I bring myself back down. And Marilyn has had to take my hands a couple times and stop them for me. But that lends itself to, we have to embrace, like you say, we have to be a community here, even when we disagree. And we have to choose words that are kind and are loving. And Claire knows this. She lives in Hawaii. They have a whole different mindset of spirituality and soul opening and just being kind to each other.
Yeah.
The second part of that question was, I think Claire said last year they oversold it.
Somebody's making a sound. I don't know. Somebody hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not me.
It's slinky up.
So, Claire, I can speak now from having been VIP in the front, and this time at the concert, I was GA. After a while, they moved us a little closer to you guys, but I think they hoped that with Jesse and the time and Jerome coming back, that they would have gotten more single day tickets sold, or that more Minneapolis people would have come, and they didn't fill that whole soundstage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good point.
One thing I'll say to you, Mr. Dean, I think one of the problems, the demographic is shifting, because we have to keep in mind, like, us super Prince heads, as you would say, or Prince fam, it's been 40 years. So most of us are close to 40, so the crowd does have,
over 40, but yeah.
But the crowd is mostly of let's say 35 and up or something like that. I think one of the issues that we need to face as a fandom, for this to really go further, we have to do things that will pull in that younger generation. Like, the digital media is their way. They're not going to sit and they don't even have anywhere to. The average person can't play a CD or a DVD. So that digital media, that's one of the things that I just would really push and push and push to get that out in front of people, where it's officially done by the Prince page, where I can go watch Prince concerts on a dozen different sites, but I can't see it on Prince's page directly. And I think that's something that going forward needs to change. I think we would see a change in demographic.
And that's what she said. She said that Connie Francis' latest old song was being played on TikTok.
Yeah.
And now she's getting money hand over foot. And that's what that young 22-year-old girl was saying.
Yeah, I've gotten dinged on Instagram many times for playing a Prince song in the background, where they like snatch my song, they snatch my post off because I had a Prince song on it. So I think that needs to change.
One thing I think we actually forgot to mention too from the alt panel is that some semblance of the NPG Music Club looks like it is coming back. And so when we talk about getting those releases and those digitized assets, whether it's going to be in a subscription model, I don't know, et cetera, but that was exciting too, because I think that speaks to what you're saying, Simon, is like, just give us the music, we don't all have to know, or,
a reboot of the NPG Music Club.
Yeah. So how cool would that be?
Right?
That would be fantastic. And all these songs that we hear in the listening sessions, et cetera, wouldn't it be great if we could just get those as NPG Music Club releases? It'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank everyone for taking time out of their day, but I have to give a very special thanks to Cassandra, because I know you are missing your gym session. Be here. That means
trying to get an A in this class is hard. But I'm going to see Omar, so hopefully I can get a B.
I'll be there too. I'll see you. I'll be there. I got my ticket. Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there.
I'm gonna give you an A for those earrings. I like
that. So I just wanted to say thank you to all four of you all. Sitting here listening and being really attentive. You guys are, and the four people on the screen and the people in the chat, it became very clear listening to this conversation that you guys are performing a service. And I think that that's important, that while somebody like me, like I've made decisions not to go to Celebration, but that's just because I'm working through some stuff, having been in that building when he was alive, and I'm just not ready to go back. But listening to you all and listening to the conversations y'all are having and listening to how y'all are interacting, I need y'all to understand what a service y'all are y'all are performing a service, because all the things you said about, you know, Lundale talking back to y'all, and all the things y'all said about, you know, I just think that it's important. For me, that's what I got from you guys' conversation today, that you guys have been and are performing a service. And I just want to say thank you. Because I am one of them people who can, you know, I'm old. I'll admit it. I'm old and set in my damn ways. And so, but I can give it up to people like y'all who can see the bigger picture. I will admit that I, time to time, don't see the bigger picture. So I appreciate each of you on this screen, and I also appreciate Prof. Duff and Brother Dean, because y'all two have been seeing the bigger picture from before Prince died, right? And so to Prof. Duff and Brother Dean, and to the four folks on the screen who went and are telling us what you saw and telling us what you experienced, more importantly, whether you know it or not, telling us how your presence is impacting the work of the estate. And I don't want that to be missed. And I think that should be said to anybody going to Celebration. It is as much a service to Prince's legacy as it is for your own personal entertainment. And if that isn't clear, play back this episode, tag people on this episode, because I don't want that to be missed. I don't want it to be missed that what you guys are doing and going to Celebration every year is helping to ensure that not only is the legacy out there, but it's out there in a way that it will be meaningful. So I just want to say thank you to each of you on the screen for the service that you guys are doing. I'll shut up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Can I just add one quick thing?
Yes.
Everybody can, especially if you're at Celebration, okay? Lundale is accessible. He is. He will seek you out. I know that I learned that last year when everybody was complaining so much. He sat next to me at brunch and just started a conversation. I was like, okay, so I can go ahead and talk to him, whether it's bad or good. Just say this is this, and don't do this again. You know, he appreciates that. The thing that by the way, that was my pest control guy doing my quarterly service. That's who that guy was in my house.
So, Marilyn, you inviting people in your house.
He's wrong.
That ain't
got the little sneaky leak back there.
I'm sorry. Sorry. Dean, you out of pocket.
What Cassandra was saying about as far as like the digital and all of that, we were talking to him at brunch about this, and he was like, I don't know how to do a lot of things. People think I know all these things. And Lynn Sadoff was talking to him about digital, like it was over my head, honestly, but he was so engaged. He was so interested. And I was able to talk to him. And then I was talking about next year. Okay. This is an advertisement for next year. 10 years gone. Okay. It's going to be a big deal. It's going to be a very big deal. I really believe that. I think they have that on their shoulders, and they know that because this was so successful, nice articles were written, people had generally good feedback, that they've got a lot to deal with. I was able to, after I talked to him about my ideas for next year, and briefly, it's just tens. It's like, okay, 86, even though please take us out of the 80s, 86 is parade. And then you have 96, you have emancipation, you have 2006. There's a couple of different things there. You know, like 3121, that's an era, that's a vibe, that was a thing for Prince. And then you have 2016, you know, like we need to see the real piano and a microphone. We want to see that in its entirety. We want to see the gala. I would prefer to see, because we've seen clips from that. I want to see the last performance in Atlanta, and they have it. I know people who have seen it. Okay, they have it. You need to show it to us. So he's like, oh, this sounds good. He goes, do you have it written down? I pulled my paper from my purse and I said, here it is. And I will email it as well. So we will see what we see, give them a chance. But you can talk to them, not just speak to them, even if it's through social media.
And I'll say, I cornered Spicy. I call him Spicy.
Spicy.
Last year, and I said, where the H is my poster? Because in the top of my ceiling, all my posters are there.
You see mine? I got mine up here too.
Whoa.
And he
said, tour, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm going to use another guest room here pretty soon. And he said, well, it was costing us too much and then people weren't buying them. They were left over. Do you know this year he had them? And another lady said the same thing. She's like, if you're a collector, you need those. Now they increased the price, kind of doubled. But at the same time, like Marilyn says, you guys, they are listening to us. They're listening to these podcasts. They're listening to everything that we're writing. And we've got to come off like a family. When you are typing something and you press send, you got to remember there's a human being on the other side. Yeah. You don't talk to your grandmother that way. You don't talk to your uncle that way. They don't know what they don't know, but please be kind.
Yeah.
Madhouse instead.
Yes, please. Yeah.
And who is on there Darth Vader right now?
I don't know, because I muted and I heard it.
Yeah, I heard it when I was muted too, so it wasn't me.
Anyway.
Now I will say one thing that I'm hoping for next year as well. I really do hope that next year they don't just stick with the 80s material like somebody else said. I'm just piggybacking off of that. If y'all have his ear, Emancipation was kind of a big deal when it was out. I remember the Steve Harvey show, he used to play Somebody every morning. He was like, I'm gonna play this song until it go platinum by myself. I remember that distinctly. And I hope that they do something where they go outside of just the 80s, because there are other fans who may want to. I know I love Emancipation myself personally, and I would love to hear something being done for something other than the 80s music at some point, because there are other highlights coming up.
Just to speak to that, Simon, in the Vault panel, when we talked about the 10th anniversary next year, Londell did say, we're, in not so many words, but we're basically going to be celebrating Prince's career in totality. So yes, it is Parade 40. That Super Deluxe needs to come on out. But he did say next year will be a celebration of all of Prince. And you know how appropriate, right, for the 10th year. Yeah. So for those of you out there that have never been to Celebration or you're hesitating about going to Celebration, I would venture to guess that we're going to see the biggest celebration ever next year that we've seen. That's how
Claire, remember they said 50% off if you've attended the other.
Yes, and we will get half off. So.
And for you all that have children, because I know Bruce has twins. He's the guy with the yellow Corvette that drives up from Kansas City, Missouri. They said that they're going to make it affordable when you bring children. I mean, that's the next generation. Yes, Michael Dean, you can bring both your children's.
Well, I think there's going to probably be an age. Yeah. It's not going to be like little kids or whatever. It's always been like 16 and up. But as far as the percentage off, yes. If you've been to all the celebrations, including 2017, which I did not go to, you will get 50% off, according to Londell, at the Gospel Brunch. So, Claire, you got that.
I hope he prorates it, because I missed one.
20% for, me too. So it's 20% for the rest of us who missed one. He said if you've been to 3 or more, not all of them, but 3 or more, it's 20%. So,
did anybody ask about an online sort of option?
I didn't. I feel like I've asked about that so many times, and it just
I think someone did say, would they stream at least the concerts? Somebody did ask that.
Yeah, they don't seem to. They just don't seem to want to do that. I don't know. I don't know.
Were they filming this year? I don't remember seeing like cameras this year.
Yeah.
Were they
Oh yeah.
Oh, they
Oh
film
yes.
every
Oh
year.
yes. They
Oh, okay.
film.
Yeah, they film
filmed
every year 'cause you
everything
have
this
to.
year.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything's on film.
You know, I just top of the head, to us, it would probably be worth selling a limited edition. It doesn't have to be nothing special, but just the actual celebrations that, you know, over the years that they probably have filmed.
Yeah, we talked about that in the panel. And,
Oh,
and
really?
Charles,
Okay.
yeah, we talked about that. And Charles said that would, in my notes, it says that would be about a 2 to 2.5 year process of getting that together. I don't know why, but we did talk about that because I think that'd be great. What a great product for all of us, even those of us who were at the celebrations. I'd love to see that again.
Yeah.
And live it. Be super.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you all again. And
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Hey,
Claire.
I got you my shirt.
Wait.
Thank you so much.
This is the 40th anniversary of the family.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I got
And
to
the
order that one.
posters, yeah, and I think the posters are still for sale. They were $65.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Minneapolis McDonald's.
So thank you again, Cassandra. I know this means you missing your gym session is a huge. So I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
And Claire, I love your broom, as everyone has been typing in the chat. I love the Jeff Katz. Jeff Katz is my favorite, one of my favorite. And Marilyn, thank you so much for always speaking to Londell and Charles and letting them know you're sort of our representative of the people.
I love it.
Yes. So we appreciate.
Hey, real quick. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Marilyn. And I want to say thank you to you, Marilyn, because I watch your posts and everything you've been doing over the years. So I'm a fan of, you know, stuff that you do. So just like Celie said, you guys are doing it, but I just want to tell you specifically, thank you. I do appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Seriously, I don't take it lightly. I try to think about what I'm going to write, but I try to get to the point, not be rude, but let's get to the point. Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
And Marilyn is a writer, and so the only request I would have is that you have her back to go through her notes of each day. Like I took mine and Claire took hers, so either one of them.
Claire took the note. I didn't take the note.
I have notes.
I'm just grooving. I'm just vibing.
First time I ever took notes, by the way. I've never in my life brought a notebook to Paisley Park until for some weird reason, I didn't even know why, but I did do it this year. And I'm glad I did. I'm really glad
you did.
Yeah.
My notebook.
Oh, wow, that's dope.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very nice.
And Stone Freak, obviously, last but definitely not least, thank you so much for always chiming in the chat. We appreciate you so much, and
Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all too, because y'all's podcast, before I ever met y'all, I was definitely like following and listening. Dean, I need you to repost the Des Dickerson episode. I cannot find it. I've looked everywhere. I need you to do that.
Okay.
For the people. For the people.
For the culture.
What a coach. No, but thank y'all for having me. I really appreciate y'all. I guess I'll see some of y'all in Atlanta at the Omar concert and at Love Sexy, I'm sure, So thank everybody.
Thank you.
When I see y'all also.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all
so much.
Michael Dean's going to take us out, but before we get taken out, I have to say, and I'm going to pull this up like really quickly because I'm a huge fan of Mohini Day, and I'm going to see her tonight.
All right.
So, I'm very excited for Mohini Day. And then for those of you who need to go see Omar, you still can. There are tons of dates that you can go see Omar. So I'm very excited to hear that too if you're going to see Omar.
Awesome. I'm actually checking out Mono Neon tonight here in Honolulu.
Oh, nice.
That's what I'm going to be doing.
Wow.
Stoked about that.
Cool.
So
I can't wait to hear about that. Yeah.
Me either. I'm excited. I haven't seen him.
Awesome. That's so great. So Michael Dean, take us out.
Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you guys in the audience, in the chat, for coming up with great comments and questions, keeping us motivated. entertained as well. Thank you to all of the guests who came on this week and shared what really happened at Celebration and got different perspectives, right? So this is excellent. People can go back and watch this over. D'Angela, thank you. Celie, thank you. Ricky, I think he had to leave. Thank you so much, sir. And with that, work it like a job. We'll see you next time.
All right.
Bye.
Yeah.